Okay, I think we're up. Oh boy. I gotta get used to talking. I haven't talked much today. Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. My goodness. Nah, I want a private game. Yeah. Do we want to continue with this? Nah, that's too hard. I'm not ready for that yet. We have a lot, and I mean a ton to go over today. A lot we really should be talking about. Customize. Whoa! I forgot REPO had an update. Wow. Wait, so can I change my color? Or do I have to unlock colors? Oh, shoot. Wow, okay. This is crazy. Wow. Okay, that's cool. We're gonna get into that a little bit. We have a lot to talk about. I'm not gonna talk about the serious thing that happened. We haven't even disclosed it to the community yet. I'm gonna give it a month. And if it's been a month and we haven't heard anything, man, I really don't want to have that conversation. But it's definitely important that I do. Because it's something that happened and I have to at least talk about it on the Discord. I know that for sure. So we'll get into that. A lot to go over. I'm probably going to wait for some people to get in here before I start yapping about everything really. But I also know there's a delay, so I shouldn't be too, like, what's the word? Too conservative with what I'm talking about. Number one, school's over, so legitimately practically all of my time is going to be spent on this channel, working on stuff, doing stuff. So that's the goal. Oh yeah, I forgot I'm actually going to be talking now that I'm in a public game and not in solos. I got to remember that. But most of my time is going to be spent on the channel. I know I've said it a lot recently, but videos should be coming soon. I'm like actively working on videos and working on getting them set up, and I'm actually making progress for once. I'm not just saying that to be like, oh well, I'm working on videos, but it's going to be another 20 million months until I get it done, which I mean, I've been saying, oh, I'm working on videos, but it just never happens because stuff keeps popping up. But I am making progress. We will hopefully get shorts at minimum. Videos should be around the same time as well. We should be getting videos soon. Again, school's over, which is great. I don't have anything else to do. I can fully focus on this. Focus on getting the channel in the place I need it to be. Focus on content. Focus on writings. Focus on reading the Bible. All that stuff that, of course, I had time before, but now I don't have an excuse. Because usually I'd be like, oh, well, I have school. So I'd, like, be late and be like, oh, shoot. Well, I realized I didn't do this thing, but I have to do school instead, so I can't really do it anymore. That'd usually be what happens, but that's not going to be what happens now. So, that's one thing. What's the other thing I wanted to talk about? We're going to be getting shorts. Wow. Hello. Oh, you're a Christian. Okay, who's the father of Samson? Oh, shoot. Bible trivia already. Dang. Bible of... Guys, I'm cooked. Oh, no. I feel like I know this, though. I think. Honestly, I probably don't know it, which sucks to admit, but at the same time, Samson. Dang it, I know that, too. I'm gonna have to look it up. I actually have to look that up. That sucks. Let me see. Oh, no, I didn't know that. Never mind. Manoah? Is that how you say that? Okay. Yeah, I actually didn't know that. I haven't read too much of the Old Testament, if I'm being honest. Most of my stuff's in the New. Since, of course, it's important, but I'd rather cover the New Testament rather than the Old, just for knowing what we're under first, and then getting into previous stuff and understanding. Of course, we still have debates on the Old Testament, and we talk about the Old Testament, but it's just not something I'm super duper knowledgeable on in terms of just reading. Of course, I still know some of it, but it's just not a big thing that I'm reading at the moment, at least. Because right now I'm just trying to get through the new. Because I feel like that has the most merit to it. I can't really word it properly. Oh boy. What's this game? This game's REPO. It's on Steam. I don't think it's on consoles yet. I don't even know if they plan to put it on consoles, but very good game. I don't even know. I just gotta hide till that guy comes through. Because, like, I can't go in there. This is a scary game? Yeah. You're not gonna be scared as a viewer watching it, but... And I usually don't get scared, but sometimes you can get jump scared, and it just kind of happens. But it's the best game for me to play while just talking on stream. It's very easy to talk. As I said, we'll get videos soon. Oh, I need to talk about why I didn't stream last week. Last week was a tough week for a lot of reasons. I know the serious thing that happened in the Discord server, even though I streamed after it, but that's one thing that happened. But I'm also just stressed out. I had to do schoolwork. I had to work on getting videos. I made a whole list. And on the community page for this channel, we're going to work on combating misinformation that I might spread during the stream. So if I ever say something wrong or misrepresent something or state a wrong fact, I'm going to go in that after the fact. Once I realize I was wrong. Wow, what a voice crack. And then I'm going to post it, say what was wrong, and then correct it. Along with that, channel is going to be used for information, combating misinformation, knowledge of the Bible, questions, prayer requests, whatever you really want. I made a whole list of things of what I want to use it for, what the purpose is, moderation guidelines, everything. If anyone wants to go through that after the stream. Where is this dude? He's taking forever. I don't want to just sit here all the time. So that's going to be what the community page is for. I doubt it's going to be used that much, but I hope it will be used by other people who just want to know things or ask stuff or whatever, really. That's the goal, at least, since most people I know aren't going to be on the Discord server, and I'm going to keep the Discord server mainly for stream information and, when I'm streaming, what's going on, stuff like that. And, if I'm not going to stream that day. You did read today. I already forgot what you did. You mean read? I'm confused. What's read? I'm a little bit lost. I think that's supposed to say read, but I got cut off. You can just let me know. What is that? Door on this. Can I not move the door? Yeah. This channel is definitely going to be multi-purpose in a lot of ways. This stream is mainly for answering questions, but I do know I'm going to be making videos on philosophical questions, and I know I'm going to be making videos on debates as well whenever we have them. Not very often that we have conversations or debate on this channel anymore. It used to be very common, but I'm going to try and keep that up. I'm going to try and work on making the shorts better and getting videos, which should be soon, as I said. We should be getting stuff like that rather soon if I can get my pipeline ready so I can edit faster and get more videos out. Because if that's done, it's going to be so easy for me to make videos now that I'm not even going to, not want to, because it's going to be so easy. But then I'm going to still edit. It's still going to be me working on the videos. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to have AI do all the work. No. But it's just an easy way for me to edit while making things simple. And for the people asking, oh, you're going to use AI? It doesn't have any of the issues that AI has. It doesn't have the moral implications. It doesn't have the ethical implications. It doesn't have, what's the other word? It doesn't have the energy consumption because I'm running it locally. So I don't have to worry about any of that. And it's not going to be like AI generated shorts at all. It's still going to be my shorts. It's just a way for me to get clips from my stream faster so I can do things faster. That's the whole thing. Just wanted to explain that. I'm also going to be transparent as possible. I'm never going to be like, oh, I don't use AI or oh, I don't do this. If I'm using it, if I'm doing something with it, I'm going to be transparent. If someone asks, if someone wants to know, then I'm just going to tell them, hey, I'm using this. This is what's happening. But I didn't use it in the wrong way. I used it ethically, yada, yada. I'm going to be transparent, but I'm still going to be, and I'm going to be honest at the same time. I don't know why I said I'm still going to be, because I don't know where I was going with that. But that's a goal. And hopefully we can have some Christian conversations in here soon. Man, I have a lot on my mind when it comes to some of these conversations. But I'm going to get out of here. Lion plus crown equals what? What year was Adam and Eve born in? I mean, they weren't on Earth at the time. And years are, like, defined by how old the Earth is. So... I guess 0? Because then they were sent to the Earth. Oh, Lion King. Okay, I was a bit confused. I thought it was like something Christianity related. Nah, I understand. Okay. I thought it was just something like... I thought it was meaning like Jesus, because Jesus is described as a lion, and then you give it a crown. I was not thinking about that. No way. Yeah, they added carts. Can I drive this? Whoa! Oh, so pressing sideways literally makes you go sideways? Whoa, the shop's actually really cool now. This is really cool. Okay, that's sick. Let me off this thing. I'm getting a little bit dizzy. Let's see what we can grab. I actually have a lot of money for it to be like... Oh! Thank you for the follow. The last outcast. Okay, that was a little bit hard to read. That font's crazy. Nice username, by the way. Very cool. Very cool. Welcome into the stream. I guess you're lurking because I don't see you in any of the chats. Oh, thank you for the follower. Son of God, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Why can't I see any of your chats? If you're like... I guess you're lurking, but... Unless you're on a different one. Let me look, just in case I'm missing anything. No? We just have a few lurkers. Okay, all good. Just a bit confused. Yeah, welcome into the stream. Hope you're doing well. What's the topic we can talk about? I feel like there's a lot we really could talk about. What is this? Did I put a coin? What? Okay, I don't understand things. This layout's kind of messing me up. What's this? Yo, this update's crazy. There's a dead dude here. Dang. Wait, I can take this? Give me that. Give it. Oh, I can change the music. Pixel, I can't see your chats, yeah. It was just someone followed and I didn't see any chats by them. But no, chats are coming through. It's just odd. Hey dude, long time no see. Welcome in, Yesil. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you back here. Yeah, it's been a week. I didn't stream last week because I was busy with a lot of stuff and just stressed out and stuff. But we're back. I'm gonna try and keep it consistent. We should be on the lookout for shorts and related stuff within a week here. That's the goal. Anyways, what's a topic we can talk about? When it comes to a lot of different things. There's a lot. Sadly, I haven't read a Bible verse recently, so I can't just be like, oh yeah, Bible verse, let's talk about this one. So what options do I have? Oh well, I know we were talking... I don't really want to talk about that topic. Oh! That's cool. Oh, that made me dizzy. What's a topic? Okay, well, first of all, Pixel, Spring, I hope you're still in here. How many levels? I restarted because I know I'd die, even though I'm still on the recent one. Pixel, what are your beliefs? What do you believe in? Same with you, Spring, if you're still here. What are your beliefs? What do you believe in? Easy question. When was Jesus born? Well, technically that's also 0, because Jesus being born reset the calendars. So Jesus was also born 0. On the year 0. Unless you want to say, like, I don't remember what BC it was before Jesus was born. I don't remember how long that was. On his birth. Jesus was born on his birthday. Well, yeah. I mean, don't they say that Christmas wasn't actually his birthday, though? That it was something else? Why did it just jump out when I grabbed it? It just jumped and then exploded. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they say Christmas wasn't his real birthday, though, so I have no idea. I haven't looked much into that topic, though. So I don't know how true that is or how false it is. But yeah, what are your beliefs, Pixel? What are your beliefs, Spring? How's your day been? If you're Christian, what's your favorite Bible verse? I'm just gonna start interacting with chat more. That's one of my goals that I was thinking about, because I really don't ask chat a lot of questions. I just kind of talk, and then I end up with no conversations or anything to talk about, when I literally have a chat full of people right there that I can talk to. And it's better to engage with you guys and just talk randomly and then have nothing to talk about and then just kind of sit there, because I'm not engaging with anything. So. Ooh, it's that guy. So yeah, I'm gonna try and engage chat more. It doesn't seem like we have a lot of people, but it does make sense since I didn't stream last week that people wouldn't be stopping by. I don't really know, but I'm in a Christian school. What is that? Oh, you're gonna kill me. Oh, you're gonna kill me. Oh, you're gonna kill me. Ooh, that was close. You don't know, but you're in a Christian school. I'm confused. So, you're in a Christian school, but you're not Christian, is what you're saying? I'm a bit confused. What about you, Spring? I don't know if you're still here. What, do you have a favorite Bible verse? Oh my goodness. What is going on? There was a medieval book about Alvis corrupting the real message of the gospel. The book's name was Tolet Yeshu, I guess. What do you think? I don't know the book. I couldn't make any comments on it. I want to say it's false, obviously, because it's my belief, but I don't have anything concrete. I can look it up right now and give you an answer, like a small, brief one, just to understand what it's even about. But other than that, I can't really give you a thing. But what's it say? Have you read it? Do you have any knowledge about it? Can you tell me about it? Medium question. What was Adam and Eve told not to do at the garden? Eat the fruits. Mainly the fruit of life and the fruit of knowledge. They did not eat the fruit of eternal life, but they did eat the fruit of knowledge. I gotta find out how to get back here. I think that one's pretty well known. I think. But yeah. Yesil, give me some, like, knowledge on what it's about, what it talks about, and, like, how it says stuff's corrupted. If you've read it, if you have knowledge on it, or you just looked it up and found the book says it, and you just kind of went with it, which is fine, but just wanted to know a little bit more about... A little bit more about the book, so I can actually make a judgment. Even if it's knowledge I don't know, I'm pretty sure I could make a somewhat accurate claim based on what it talks about, if it talks about something I do know. But other than that, I'll have to look into the book. Must be hoarse today. My voice sounds off. Yeah, that's probably it. I'm not getting sick. That suck. That actually suck. Haven't I already been here? Yeah, this is where the baby blew up the thing. I don't know why I'm going back this way. True or false? Mary went to Bethlehem to have Jesus. Yes, that's true. I had to think about that for a second. Give me a moment. I didn't read the book because you cannot find it. It's a medieval book. Oh, well. But from what I've read, it talks about Pavlis mainly. According to the book, Pavlis was a Jewish agent. In his duty was corrupting the gospel. Huh. Well, that also sucks. But, like, imagine purposefully wanting to corrupt the gospel. Wild. But, yeah, if you don't have any knowledge on it, then I can't really make any ends about it. Especially if it's not readable by people, like the public, then I don't think there's much I can do in that regard. Unless it does have, like, somewhere where it's up or you can read it. I mean, But if if his job was corrupting the gospel, then how do you know if he succeeded or if he failed? Right? What's that noise? Obviously, we know he failed, though. I know why. Okay, I was saying that mostly for myself. We know he failed because we have the Greek manuscripts of the early Gospels, and the message is still the same. And those are from 600, not 600, like 60 AD, 80 AD, which is within the life of the apostles, within the life of Peter, Paul, Matthew, Luke, all of them. And they were all written around the same time, but we don't count the ones that were written like 300 years after. Like the Torah, not the Torah, the Quran, there we go. Like the Gnostic Gospels, which were made by people purposely trying to corrupt the faith and trying to say that Jesus taught knowledge, not salvation and stuff, and that knowledge is power, not Jesus or whatever. So, we know that. We still have the early Greek manuscripts that show that the Bible and the Gospel has not been corrupted for any time. And if we're talking about a person from medieval times called Pavlos, or whatever their name is, medieval times is like 600, 800, I'm pretty sure. Somewhere around there, I think. Ooh, I tried to catch it. I think. Or it's like 1600s. I don't really remember. I don't know when medieval times is. But that's way after, like 90, 80, 60, 80, around there. So, it just seems false based on that principle alone. I'm just gonna go put this over here. And according to that book, the real gospel didn't say Jesus was God. Yeah, but the real gospel hasn't been corrupted. We know that from the Greek manuscripts. Because they say the exact same things. My goodness, I'm just slamming it against the wall trying to get it to open. But the Bible has not been corrupted. I mean, they dated the Greek manuscripts to like 60-ish. And of like 60 to 100. Yeah, I don't know the timeline of Paul. I don't know like how that works. But I do know that's around the time Jesus lived. That's really early. And those are around the times where you can have eyewitness people who saw Jesus talk about Jesus, is what I'm bringing that up for. But yeah, Pavlos is medieval times. The Greek manuscripts are literally like right after, and they still support the fact that the Bible is the exact same then to now. So you have that going against whatever Pavlos from medieval times said happened. And again, I know we talked about Council of Nicaea last time, but the Council of Nicaea did not decide Jesus' godhood like many atheists or other religions like to believe that, oh, the Council of Nicaea is where Jesus became God because they made him God instead of man. Oh, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. I can't run. Oh, I'm alive. Okay. They say that Jesus was made God, even though he was a man and he only taught, like, knowledge or salvation. Same thing the Gnostics really teach as well. But that's wrong. We have evidence before the Council of Nicaea that people knew that Jesus was God. And the reason they had the Council of Nicaea was because there was one dude spreading songs about how Jesus wasn't the Messiah. And the council was called because this one dude was spreading this misinformation. And then he got called a heretic. And I don't know if it was St. Nicholas that punched him. I don't know if that's the same one. I might be conflating two different things. Don't quote me on that part. But he was called a heretic because around the time everybody believed that Jesus was God. Not everybody, of course, but in Christianity it was automatically assumed and it wasn't decided based on a church council meeting that Jesus was God and they're going to fabricate his godhood. Because it was multiple years before. You have many writings on cave walls, writings on ruins, showing that people thought Jesus was Lord, even though they were made fun of it, because you have writings showing that even though they stated that, people were making fun of them for it. But that shows that people knew Jesus was God, even back then, before the Council of Nicaea. So that's just a fact that is wrong. Not a fact. If it's wrong, it's not a fact. What? That's just a thing that's stated that is incorrect, I guess is the way to put that, because it's not a fact. The book talks about the gospel being corrupted way before the Council of Nicaea. Yeah, but again, you still have the Greek manuscripts. Unless you're going to say it was corrupted 10 years before that, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Because the people were still alive to be able to correct them if they were spreading falsehoods. Of course, there still could be a person spreading a false gospel, obviously, but to say that the gospel is corrupted is entirely incorrect. What's my favorite food? I like chicken. And I like chicken wings, but a certain way you make them, but it's not a real recipe. I had it in school one time, and I never got the recipe, so it's just kind of sucks, but... And then peanuts. I like peanuts. They're cool. I don't really have a lot of favorite foods. I don't really think about it much. But yeah, the gospel, not corrupted. I mean, the apostles were still alive. Paul was still alive. Luke was still alive. When the Greek manuscripts were discovered, or evidence, it might not even be the Greek manuscripts. It might just be evidence of... What's it called? Evidence of Jesus. Not Jesus. Of writings talking about... I don't know. I can't word, but I'm pretty sure it's the Greek manuscript, so I'm not even going to go back on what I thought I meant. Bye, you need to leave. All good. Hope you have a good day. God bless you and your family, and I hope you stay in good health. See ya. Hope you're doing well. And stay well. Oh, I gotta keep this upright. I gotta keep this upright. No. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, stay up. This is very difficult. It just wants to flip. How do I do this? I might have it. There we go. Oh my goodness. That was difficult. It was corrupted when Pavlos lived in the 2nd century. When's the 2nd century? It's medieval times? Dang. From 180 to 280. Yeah, but the Greek manuscripts are before that. They're like 60 to 30. Or, why not? Okay, I'm gonna look it up so I actually have like an actual accurate timeline. When are the Greek manuscripts dated? Let's see. What are you? Oh, shoot. Let's see. Oh, there's a big frog dude that's gonna try and kill me here. Yeah, I'm trying to see because I don't want to unaccurately... Some stuff saying 100. Man, these dates are all over the place. Give me an accurate one. Oh, wait. Wait, my brain can't... Yeah, but for the Greek manuscripts to exist, there has to be something before that that they wrote off of, which would mean the letters, which would mean all the other stuff. Because the Greek manuscripts aren't the original text. I don't think. Let's see. I mean, it's around 2nd century when they're dated. But again, Paul, Luke, they would have been alive to correct misinformations from Pavlis. 2nd century is 100 to 200. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure the manuscripts are dated younger than that. Like, just barely. Just barely. But, again, as I said, Luke and all the other people would have likely been alive to correct it, even if there was misinformation. Which I don't even know how true that is. You know what? I'm going to look it up. When does Pavlis claim to corrupt gospel? Dang, not even anything's coming up. The only thing that's coming up is Paul the Apostle. Okay, let me go up, look at the book, see what you're talking about here. I did not read the book because you can't find it. Medieval book. What did you say the name was? What is this? The Toldot Yeshu is a collection of Jewish gospels parodying about the life of Jesus called the Yeshu text. It is a satirical counter-history presenting a biography of Jesus from an anti-Christian perspective. This isn't even what you said it was. Oh, wow. That's an amazing thing to read in the first 2 seconds of opening the Wikipedia article. Wow. He's depicted as a sorcerer who was defeated by Judas and died a shameful death. Yeah, this isn't the gospel we believe in either way. If we're to say that, oh yeah, he was able to corrupt the gospel by creating a new one that didn't even get in the book. Yeah, this is just a false gospel. It's not a corruption of it, unless you want to say... Yeah, no, a corruption is like changing the text and then putting it in the book. This is just a false gospel that's wrong. How old is this? This is... The Torah has motifs that closely mirror the account of the end of Jesus in the Quran. Okay, which one was written first? I wouldn't be surprised if they piggybacked off of one another. When was the Torah Yeshu written? Around 600 CE. What's CE? Is that 80? But just... Okay, we're using a different calendar here. I need something more... dated back to the 6th century. So that would even be after the Quran. I would assume that it piggybacked off the Quran a bit when written then. If we're going to say this thing was from the 6th century, then it and it has similar motifs to the Quran, then it likely is based off the Quran in some sense, even if not fully. Well, glad I cleared that up. So yeah, it's not even from the 1st or 2nd century, it's from the 6th. The first English translation being, what, 1800s? While the Bible was way before that, with Greek manuscript dating way back that... My box. How did it land? Please don't kill me. Oh boy. Quran's in 7th century? I thought Quran was 300s. What is a Quran? 600. No, I was wrong. Okay, I didn't know that. Oh, it's 200 years after the Prophet Muhammad died. Okay. So it was written in 600. When was this written? Sixth century, 7th century. Maybe the Quran piggybacked off it then. Let's see, I'm gonna look at this. The first revelation of the Quran was in 600. Yeah? Quran was 600. I never knew that. So, was it written 200 years after his death? Wonder how much misinformation I do have about the Quran. I don't know much about the Quran. I don't look into it. So we're saying a book from 600 and a book from 500, 600 is more accurate than the manuscripts from 100. Carbon dated to 568 to 645. And let's see. When was it written? Yeah, she was written before the Quran. I didn't get what? First revelation. Okay, was in 600. That's what you meant. Okay. Well. You're not saying the Torah Yeshu's are okay. What are you saying then? How much is this worth? I'll drag it back. I'm saying that it talks about Pavlis corrupting the real message of the gospel. I didn't even see anything talking about Pavlis in all of that. The only thing I saw was creating a fake life of Jesus. What are you? Ooh, that was close. Yeah, if you're saying something corrupts the gospel, then you're saying it replaces the actual gospel, which isn't true. You're saying it talks about Pavlis corrupting the gospel. Okay. About a book that was written in 600, by the way. But 500, whatever. Let's see. Does the total... Oh my goodness, this is a rabbit hole. Is Pavlis Paul? Because anytime I look up Pavlis, it just brings up Paul. Why does it keep bringing it? Anytime I look anything up about Pavlis, nothing pops up. But Yeshu is not a gospel. It talks about it being corrupted. Yeah, but I can't even find any information on that. Pavlis is Paul. So we're going to say Paul corrupted the gospel. Is that the argument? I don't even see it talking about... Okay. Paul corrupting the gospel. Nothing even... The medieval Todat Yeshu apparently conflates Peter and Paul into a single individual. What? Let you get the exact quote of the wiki. Yeah, please. What are we on about? Okay, what's that from? Wiki of Palvis. If that was the case, how would he do that? Of course, we have the Greek manuscripts, obviously. But the Bible didn't exist at the time. Let me look at this so I can at least understand what's going on. But the Bible is just a... The Bible is a collection of books, mainly the New Testament, written by people who lived, ate with, and talked to Jesus, and talked to other churches. That's mainly what the New Testament is. So we're going to say that Paul knew where all these books were. And being Paul, he just ran all the way around, going to each of these spots, grabbing these books, and corrupting them one by one, and inventing that Jesus is God through each book. And the people just let it happen. Even though... Okay, well, I can't bring up Council of Nicaea. Let me see. When was Council of Nicaea? I don't think it's going to be a point I can make here with Council of Nicaea. 380. Yeah, so I can't make a point with Council of Nicaea. I was about to bring that up. I was like, no, that's way too far in the future. We're just going to assume people are going to let that happen. When were the Greek manuscripts written? Around 100, but they were based off of texts that they had transcribed. Okay, well, let me make sure I got this right. Are the Greek manuscripts the original text? No originals still exist that we know of. The earliest copies that we have are the Greek manuscripts. So we're going to say these texts that they were reading before that, before they were Greek manuscripts, they just let them be corrupted by Paul. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to go down each one. He's like, when did Paul live and die? Around 33, and he probably died around 64. Okay, again, we're just going to say that the 12 apostles just let Paul go around spouting nonsense about Jesus, even though he was wrong. Okay, yeah, but he still lived in the time of the apostles. The apostles are just going to let him create a false gospel? Wasn't Paul one of the people that saw the risen Jesus? So were the apostles. And then how do you explain the other books? Are you going to say he corrupted the other books? How do you explain the apostles just letting him do that? They were alive. And then the people that the apostles taught, why would they just let Paul spout nonsense? And just let him do it? Pavlos never saw Jesus. Yeah, you are right about that. The disciples did see Jesus, though. And Paul was taught from one of the disciples, to my knowledge. Because Paul didn't see Jesus. I remember that. But the disciples did see risen Jesus. And I'm pretty sure Paul did see an apostle. He was taught by... And I could be wrong on that part, where he met the apostles, but... In both Acts and Paul's letter, it is clear that Paul had relations to those who were apostles, chiefly the formal disciples of Jesus. This is... I don't know how credible it is. And Jesus' brother James. When you read the book of Acts, there's no ambiguity whatsoever about how Paul relates to these people. He's introduced to them by Barnabas, and they immediately welcome him. Okay. I was right about that. Rather, do you read the books that didn't exist at the time? No. So the argument is that Paul legit made all of it up. That's the argument. Like everything. The apostles, the disciples, Jesus, all of it. He made the book of John. He made the book of Luke. He made the book of Mark and Matthew. And he wrote all the other books as well. All the letters. And then he made every single bit of it up. The people that are apostles never existed. Never existed. They're just fake. Paul made them up. There was no one to stop him. So he just started preaching to people. Preaching to people. After killing Christians. Which doesn't make sense. How are there Christians before a gospel? If he wrote everything. And then why would he kill them? Because that's a historical event. I'm pretty sure there's like historical evidence of that. None of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. I think I'm just going to end the argument there. I don't think I have a single word No, the apostles existed. They are in Quran. What is the argument? I'm gonna run him over. You stay away from me. What are you doing, buddy? He's swinging on me. Whoa. Oh. Yeah, the argument just doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up logically. To say the apostles just let it happen, to let him corrupt it, especially if he knew them. And then for people to believe it after being taught by the apostles for multiple years at this point, or at least a few. And actually, I'm pretty sure they started at the same time teaching after Jesus died. But then, again, you then get to the point. Why would the apostles be preaching one thing, and then Paul preach another, and then Paul's version somehow stand, and people only listen to Paul? This is the literal first ever writing about the entirety of Christianity. Mark wrote the book of Mark. We're up to what? The books didn't exist. The apostles existed. They were still teaching people. The books didn't have to exist. They were telling people that Jesus is risen. If we're to say the events are still true, of course you're basing all this off the Quran, which makes this impossible to argue for my side, because you're just going to be like, oh, well, the Quran's true, so this. The Quran's true, so this. The Quran's true, so this. There's multiple historical things. There's multiple implications that if the Quran is true, you still have the apostles, and they're still letting Paul preach a false gospel, which is also crazy, by the way. They're just going to let him do that, even if they're Muslim for some reason. Still doesn't make sense. Then you have the historical evidence. Paul actively killed Christians. So why would he preach Christianity and then kill Christians? That doesn't make sense. So how did we get Christians before Paul if Paul's the one preaching the false gospel? Doesn't make sense either. Because then those people would be listening to the disciples, the apostles, right? So the disciples and the apostles are just going to let Paul corrupt whatever he wants to. Unless we're going to say, oh, those Christians never existed, which is pretty sure it's a historical event. There's actual knowledge of that. People were hiding in caves because they were getting persecuted. People were dying. Like, none of this makes sense. You're basing it off of the Quran by immediately presupposing that the Quran exists, the Quran is correct, and then anything else I state where you're just like, no, it's wrong. Even though it doesn't make logical, coherent sense for the Yesh Hill, whatever, to be correct in any of its presuppositions. And then it teaches absolutely crazy things about Jesus' life, which is also crazy. And then it's after, too, which is another thing. Like, if this was true, why is it not being told earlier? Why do we not have any more historical accounts that this happened? Why do we have more historical accounts from Pharisees talking about Jesus? Why do we have more historical accounts by Roman people about Jesus and his life that are more accurate than the Yesil? Like, none of this makes sense. Not one bit. Not one bit. Whether Christians before Paul actively talked to and saw Jesus, they were the true believers. Again, so why would those true believers just allow Paul to create a false narrative? And then why would Paul talk about forgiveness and about how he wasn't let into homes because he used to kill people? And there's just a lot of other evidence that you're just kind of skimming over that I'm bringing up. None of it makes historical sense, logical sense, at least in my opinion, and a lot of other sense. I don't get it. I don't get it. None of it makes sense. No, stay away from me. Stay away from me. You get back. You get back. No! What do you mean by allowing? I think I'm done with this conversation. I don't think I can bring up any more points, honestly. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I'm also not going to be streaming terribly long. I'm going to go for like maybe 2 hours and then just cut it. Some other stuff I really want to do today. Like get videos working. Yeah, there's just a lot of logical... I'm actually gonna... I don't want to get myself killed, but I don't even know where I left my stuff at. Getting chased. Dude's a menace. And it could also be in part the fact that I'm just not understanding it correctly. But I don't see how a timeline even forms here at all. In general. I didn't show the Quran to source anything. I just talked about it and you're saying you're bringing the Quran as source. Well, yeah. You're saying because the Quran is true, that means the apostles existed, which means the Yesil is true because the Quran is true. That's the reason we know the apostles existed, because of the Quran. That's bringing up the Quran as a source. Because we're going to say, oh, well, it was corrupted because Yesil says so. Therefore, the Quran's the only thing that's true because I believe the gospel and Christianity is corrupted. So therefore, the apostles were real people and they existed only because the Quran says so, and everything else is corrupted. So I'm going to base everything that I read from this Yesil, from this whatever. I'm bringing up your name. I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to bring up everything from this thing that aligns with what I think. Because it aligns with what I think. Because of the Quran. I did not word that correctly at all. I can't brain anymore. My brain is not braining. This has fried my brain because it's just... It doesn't make sense. I can't formulate a timeline correctly because I'm either misunderstanding something, highly confused, obviously, because it doesn't make sense to me, and my brain's just done. You have the historical evidence of Jesus' life, which the Yeshu whatever says the opposite of, which doesn't make sense because you have historical documents documenting Jesus' life from Romans, from Pharisees that say the opposite. And if all was a Pharisee or a Jewish person, then why would other Jewish people, Pharisees and the alike, be writing historical documents about Jesus that says the opposite of what he's trying to say? That doesn't make sense. Why would they want to kill him if they want to... Why would they want to kill Jesus? Well, that's before. I can't make that point. There's a lot of whys. There's a lot of hows. There's a lot of ifs. That doesn't make sense. No, you just said that I didn't believe in the apostles, and I said no. Okay. You said the first writing of the gospel were the Greek manuscripts, and it was after Pavlos. You're just You're not understanding any of the other points I'm making, and you're just saying that, oh, well, it was written after Pavlos. That's why I'm just going to end the conversation, because I can make more points, I can go on this forever, but you're just going to keep saying that. Even if I'm getting things wrong, because my brain is, at this point, fried. There we go. Again, I'm getting notifications. This is 5. Because I made a ton of other points that obviously mean that it doesn't make sense for that to be true. Even if I ever do my AI thingy for this topic, just cut out wherever I like. I plan to either make myself or the AI cut out whatever... What's that? Oh, cosmetic box. cut out whatever I got wrong here. And whatever I got, like, logically right. Because I don't even know if I'm gonna make this into a video or a clip. If it gets damaged, you can heal it. Cool. Because, like, this... It just doesn't make sense. I asked that question for the first time. I mean, you're right that it was written after. I'm just gonna end the conversation because... Yes, it was written after. That doesn't make it true. Because there's a lot of other logical inconsistencies within this one thing that says so much, which is also obviously trying to disprove the gospel. Doing the same thing it says Paul was doing. And again, this is a Jewish text. Why, if Paul is Jewish, is he doing that? Why is he creating a new religion? Blasphemy. That would be going against Jewish people if Jewish people are like, oh, well, because of this, Jesus wasn't God. Why would he create Jesus' godhood if it was never there to begin with? Well, you say it was there to begin with, so that doesn't count. Yeah, I can't brain anymore. I need to just be quiet. Am I non-denominational? I'm probably around Baptist to evangelical. The church I go to is evangelical. Somewhere around there. And I point out one more inconsistency. I point out it a lot. I point out it a lot. I outpointed a lot. If I make this into a clip, you can watch it, and you'll get all the points that I have against it. How about that? Man. It just doesn't make sense. Again, I brought up the historical inconsistencies. I brought up the Greek manuscripts, but you said those were written after, which is fair. I brought up the Quran thing, which is probably me just misrepresenting things because I can't brain right now. I brought up the fact that it doesn't make sense that Paul would do that to begin with. The fact that the apostles would let him do that. The fact that Christians were actively being persecuted, obviously. Therefore, why would he invent more godhood for Jesus, for Christianity? It doesn't make sense. Brother, you don't understand. Pavlos was an agent according to the book. And say, why did Paul corrupt it? It serves to mislead people. If you're Jewish, why are you leading people away from Judaism? If your whole point... Again, if he's trying to lead people to Judaism, which... Oh, shoot. I'm gonna die. Dang. Which he's actively trying to do. Why was I grabbing that? I already finished. I'm not paying attention. He was actively killing Christians. Why does he want to make more Christians? If he's actively killing them. If he's Jewish, why is he helping to start a new religion that's not Judaism? That's blasphemy in his eyes. Why would he kill Christians to begin with if that was true? None of that makes sense. And that's just one thing. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to start answering... Do I reject apostolic succession? I do, at the moment. Of course, my mind could change on that fact. But I haven't looked enough into it to really make a decision on how true that is. I do believe that the rock that Jesus said Peter was, that he was going to build his church on this rock. I believe that's talking about the man who... The metaphor where the man who built his house on a sand sunk, and the man who built his house on a rock didn't. And of course, I have to read the passage to accurately, like, state my feelings on that whole thing about apostolic succession. I don't believe it's true, though. I don't believe it's accurate. I do believe there could be some form of it where one person disciples more people and then it, like, multiplies over time. That's probably true, but apostolic succession, in the sense that Jesus founded one church and it goes down and down and down, pope to pope, that doesn't make sense to me. At least I haven't looked into it, though. You're saying the people that believe in Paul... I'm done. Yeah, I can't... Again, just in the conversation. Just end the conversation. I'm actually not talking about it anymore. I can't bring up any more points. I can't. My brain's done. Hope you're still here. I can't see your username, it's really dark. But the person I was talking to about apostolic succession. I just have no reason to believe in it yet. Of course, again, could change. Obviously. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're doing well. My voice is kind of cooked at this point. I've been talking so much. The argument got so brain hurt that I can't even form sentences correctly. Of course, I wanted it to be a short stream, but man, I got a headache. I think the other person that I was talking to left, which kind of sucks, because I wanted to answer stuff. I just want to find the right path talking to you. Yeah, no big deal, I just can't. I just gotta end the conversation. Of course, you can talk to it about someone else, but then again, they might not be as knowledgeable, and they might not be able to make the same points. Of course, I will make it into a clip. You can look it over, understand it yourself. I'm not trying to be mean or rude. I brought up all the points I can. I can't really think about it anymore more than I have, because my brain at this point just hurts. Like, legitimately. It's just confusing. May God lead us to the rightest of path. Exactly. Well, by which means, do you know that the Gospel of Matthew, Paul, John, and Luke were written by the apostles of the same name? Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Well, by which means do you know that the Gospel of Matthew, Paul, John, and Luke were written by apostles of the same name? Like the same apostle? I'm not understanding. I was making up more points. Yeah, I just can't. I can't. No. Stupid dog. Stupid dog. Okay, what's your source for that, then? It's kind of like the same thing we were just kind of talking about, but what's your source that all the books were written by one guy? Obviously, we were talking about Paul. He's written a lot of the books, but Matthew, Luke, the other ones were written by different people. I'm pretty sure there's two. No, I think I'm wrong on that. Never mind. I'm gonna shut up. I'm not gonna say that, because I think that's wrong. Sometimes it is better for a man not to speak. Yeah, what do you mean? This feels like the same conversation I was just having, though. Oh, what do you believe in, by the way? Okay, your name's Santa. You can see it now. Yeah, what do you believe in, Santa? What are your beliefs? How do you know the books were written by the apostle in question? I mean... Okay. Number one guy isn't going to recount the same story over and over again and again and just get, not details wrong, but the details aren't going to be different or written in a different way or written in a different stylistic way. Of course, you can say that, oh, well, Mark wasn't actually written by Mark, but you can't say they were all written by one person. And I don't know the evidence for the fact that the apostles actually wrote the books that they said they wrote, or that people say they wrote. I haven't looked into that, which is a good topic for me to actually look into. Because that is interesting. I've never even thought of that. How do you know that the apostles wrote the books that it says that they wrote? I gotta think about that. I can look it up, though. I'm sure that's probably not the answer you want for me to find a looked up answer, but I do want the knowledge on this really quick. Your ether and orthodoxy. Okay. Well, what's your answer, first of all? Because I'm pretty sure you have one. Also, really cool to see an Eastern Orthodox person in here. I don't think we get those very often. How do we know? Well, it's because of early church tradition. Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. The Gospels were written... Mark, Luke, and John. Let's see. Written maybe as early as 55 CE. Okay, that's cool. I'm trying to see if there's like any historical stuff. Like if there's... How do you know which books belong in the New Testament without relying on church authority? I'm gonna have to end the stream, so... Man. The fact that I know I have an answer to this, but the fact that I know my brain is gonna hurt even more here is really annoying. Okay. How do I start this? When were the books compiled first? I'm gonna look that up just as a starting point. When was the Bible compiled? When was the New Testament Bible compiled? Compiled between 130 and 140. That is after the apostles. That is after the disciples. It was compiled then. Somewhere around that. So therefore, if the apostles had people below them, like Timothy, like others, therefore they would know if the books were written by the people above them, like Paul, if they knew them. We know the letters were written by Paul because he was sending letters to every church and signing them Paul, so we knew, obviously. But that's not relying on church authority, it's relying on the fact that they knew the person that wrote the books. Therefore, you could also say that you'd know through God that... Because the same authority the church has, could you not as a person have it with God? Why is that not possible without the church? Therefore, if every man is infallible, no matter what, then... I just don't understand. Why does the church suddenly have more power than a person? And why does a person in the church suddenly have more power than a person not in the church? If God is still God. By saying that, I mean... How do I word it? Of course, the apostles... They knew the apostles, right? They were talking to them. They had connections. They knew who these books were from if they knew the person. Obviously. Why does the church therefore gain authority when people that knew each other come into one room? Why do they have more authority when they walk into one room than when they're apart? I guess is what I'm trying to ask. Or do they have that authority no matter what? Where does that authority come from? The room, or God, or both? Because we know that God was writing the New Testament, I think it's in Timothy somewhere, that all scripture is God-breathed. But yet these people weren't in a church. They were out making churches. Jesus Christ, the head of the church. Okay, but to say someone can't have Jesus Christ without being in a room doesn't make sense. Scripture doesn't teach church above people. It does assign authority to the church as the pillar and foundation of truth. Then you have to define the church. Is the church the people, or is the church a room? Because that's a whole interpretation thing that I know people talk about a lot. My game looked like this. But I'm going to read that verse that you brought up. 1 Timothy 3:15. I did that right. If I am delayed, you will know how people ought to conduct themselves in God's household, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and the foundation of truth. We're also told we are the church, or the... what's it called? We are the vessel for the Holy Spirit, is what I'm trying to say. Pillar of truth. That is interesting, though. Hi, how are you? Welcome in, Blake Richard. Hope you're doing well. My brain's kind of fried. I just had a very long conversation. But I'm trying to keep conversations going. I know I'm going to get things wrong now, because my brain is just not functioning. But we're gonna still try. Welcome in, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you back here. Hope you're doing well. The church is the people of God gathered around Christ, guided by... Yeah, but the church wasn't even a room at the time. The church was the people. Because people, one or more people gathered in my name, I shall be with them. So, the church could gather anywhere. So it's the gathering of people that makes the church. And therefore, that's when you gain the authority. Christ gives teachings, authority, to the apostles. And they are appointed. Yep. Not isolated, private interpretation. I've missed your streams. Yeah, stressed out last week, had schoolwork, had to try and get videos up. I should actually get videos up within a week, which is awesome. I have no more school, by the way, so this will be my main focus for a while. I'm going to try and stream maybe every 2 days. That's the hope. Of course, I might not follow through with that, so give me a little bit of grace on that. But I will try. Hopefully. I know I'm going to be busy this month and week. Eventually, I'm going to be going on vacation. I still have graduation. So I have one more test. So I do have some stuff to do, but I'm mostly out free. So that's the hope. You still have 2 more weeks. Well, hope you get out pretty soon. Never said that the church was a room. Okay, so the church is the body of Christ. The church is the body. And the apostles, being appointed by Jesus, had some sort of authority. That actually brings me into another question. Why do we have one pope then? If multiple people can be appointed by Christ, why do we have one pope? Like, I know that's off topic. But why do we have one pope then? If Jesus had 12 disciples, is it because he called Peter saying he would build his church upon that rock? Because, of course, I don't think that's what it actually says. I'm trying to paraphrase and think of the verse itself, so don't quote me on that. But is it because of that verse? Because he told one person that? Because if so, what would the other apostles be? We don't believe in the papacy. Have you ever looked into the prayer thing? What exactly do you mean by the prayer thing? I kind of forgot. Please remind me. Because I can definitely answer if I know it. You gotta look at history. Yeah, but he had 12 disciples. Even if he told Peter that whatever in that verse, why therefore do we have one pope then either way? Does that make Peter more special than the other apostles? It's God's will changing. Oh, I talked about that last stream. You must have not been there. Yeah, I talked about it at the beginning, not last stream, because I did Crimson Desert last stream. At the beginning of the stream before that, if you want to go back and watch it, I'll make it into a clip, so you might not have to go back and watch it, but yeah. I can't focus right now. So yeah, I did answer that question. If you do want it to be answered, I did talk about it. It was the last repo stream for this one. So not the one now. The one before. You can look at that if you want to. I know I'm also giving you some hard questions, and I know I'm also not thinking straight. Again, I'm just going to keep bringing that up, because... Yeah, but... I don't want to, like, bombard you with insane questions. It's just I'm trying to think through it as well, understand it, while also trying to provide a little bit of pushback to some things. Because it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and I know I'm misrepresenting some stuff. Again, as I said before, I know I'm going to do that. I can't think straight. So, just a little bit of grace. Last stream was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. It's not the Crimson Desert one, it's the one before. I talked about it then. They asked the question a while ago. I can tell you which one exactly, if you give me a moment. Let's see here. View my channel. The one 13 days ago. That should be it. Let me make sure. I'm gonna mute myself. Okay, yeah, that's the one I answered it on. I'm about to die, aren't I? This is crazy. There's no way you see me. Go. Go, 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 go. Yeah, so that's when I talked about it. That question was from Mollusk a while ago. By now. We don't believe in the papacy, so what does that mean? Again, I haven't looked into Eastern Orthodoxy at all. I haven't even looked into Catholicism that much either. I do know some knowledge about it. I do have some objections, and I believe I will eventually get to those. It's just not my #1 thing right now. So what does that mean? What is the papacy in, like, a way you can explain it to me? I think I'm good. I think I can leave here. I don't see nobody. Yeah, I want to watch this. Dang it. Get up. Of course, I'm not going to stream too long. I didn't plan on it anyways, but after that whole string of whatever, it's just a mess. So scattered. Usually I can think so well. But I also just shut up about it. I'm talking about it too much, but... Well, dang, I just broke it. Never stood a chance. Oh, okay, how long? How long was the clip? Well, it was 13 days ago. It was the REPO stream. It was like 3 minutes into the stream. Probably less. I'd watch it from the beginning, because I talked about it immediately the second I started streaming. So just give it a second, and you'll get there. I wouldn't start it at the 3-minute mark, because you're probably going to miss some stuff. Because I jumped to the 3-minute mark, and it was in there. And I was actually ahead of stuff. This guy's so annoying. I don't even think I can fight him. I don't have nothing to hit him with. Get on my way. I also might be sick next stream, because I can tell by the way I'm talking I'm probably not gonna be healthy. Because either my voice is sore, which doesn't make sense, or I'm getting sick. Which kind of sucks. Hopefully I'm not getting sick though, but... we'll see. We shall pray that that is not what happened. But if that's the way it happens, that's the way it happens. I might not even stream because I'm sick, which would kind of suck, but... yeah, as I said, should be getting some videos within a week, so be on the lookout for that. If not, then I failed. at finishing, and I will get videos done soon, sometime. I just want to get it done now that school's out, because now it's like the perfect, not perfect, but now it's like the one time I really want to start getting stuff out. Now that I'm like out of school. He's gonna be oh my goodness. You know what? Tired of this. Where's this guy at? Disappeared. Hopefully we can play the Minecraft server next. I'm also gonna work on getting that up, like, legitimately. I don't know when that's gonna be done, but I hope I can get it working, because Minecraft streams are just way better for viewership overall. Rah. Do you know different Lutheran types? I do not. May you inform me? Get off my face. Well, that was the worst time for you to do that. Ow, it hurts. Oh, I can take this back. Ignoring me, huh? You haven't messaged anything. I don't see anything in the chat. I can check YouTube chat really quick and see if there's messages. Okay, let me look. I'm gonna go bring this back, and then I'll look. Let me look. The only thing I see is you have to look at history. I think there is a Missouri Senate and then something else. Well, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means. Why is my cart on weak mode? Why is my cart weak? Should be strong. Ooh, expensive barrel. Get the expensive barrel in the cart. Man, I'm looking for the way out of here. This is not what I was expecting to find. I didn't even find any loot here, neither. You get back in there. Just don't look at them and they're not there. I can hear it. We're gonna get out of here. What's my plan going further? For the channel, or what do you mean? For everything. You mean like... For the channel, the hope is... Oh. Hi there. You can't do nothing. Maybe I'm gonna just walk past you. Oh, I take it back. I take it back. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Ow. I didn't mean it. For everything. Okay, well... Of course, for the channel, streaming a good amount, hopefully, over whatever amount of time I got for streaming. Maybe seminary and college, if the YouTube doesn't really pan out. Oh, you can reroll, that's crazy. Ultimately, I don't think that's going to happen, though, but God's will be done in that front. I just believe he's called me to the YouTube channel rather than college and seminary and whatever else, though that could be a part of it. I don't know. The hope, get videos out, get better at editing, obviously. I'm not great at editing videos. I haven't even made many normal videos. Get shorts out, which I'm trying to make it super easy for myself to do stuff like that. Like, get shorts out, get videos out. That's what I'm working on right now, which is why we don't have any out. Because it's just going to save me so much time from, like, clipping stuff to editing stuff to all that. It's going to save me, like, hours, ultimately, if I get it done. Even though it's taking me weeks and months to get it done, it's going to save me more time in the long run. It's like an investment, kind of. But, and then I hope that my videos or shorts or whatever are good enough to actually get views. Maybe make money off the channel. I don't know how that's going to work. That's the goal, eventually, is to make, like, enough to sustain life, pretty much. But we're a little bit ways away from that. We're not even monetized yet. So the first goal is getting monetization, and not crowdfunded monetization neither. I mean, like, ads, because I don't like the idea of taking money from people, especially people who, like, work for their money. It just doesn't sit right with me. But I do want ads, because ads pay really well, even just for, like, not even a ton of views, really. I mean, of course, it's a ton of views, but, like, relative to what I get, it's 1,000, which is a ton in, like, a normal video. But in the grand scheme of things, 1,000 isn't that much. I respect everything that you do for the YouTube community. Of course, I'm also going to be doing writings. I'm going to write things, philosophical questions. Mostly the stuff I'm going to get questioned about here on stream, I'm going to turn into writings. And if I make a video, I'm likely going to turn that into a writing later, in case people want to read it. So that's one. And then I'm also going to have the community page be a place for combating misinformation for, like, Christianity, anything wrong I say on stream, anything, like, incorrect I say, which there's going to be at least one thing per stream. This stream's been crazy, though. I've gotten so many things wrong. But that's just, it's a hard topic. It's hard to think about, so it was just a struggle. And then it's going to be for prayer requests, questions, all that stuff. Even though I doubt it's really going to be used much, the community page, but that's what I want to use it for. When it comes to anything else, obviously if it doesn't pan out, I gotta get something going. I gotta get a job or go to college. Likely hate both, or seminary. I don't know if I'm really meant to do in-person stuff. Like, I don't know if that's what God has called me to do. I know he called me to the videos. Told me it was gonna be my job. I don't know how it's gonna work out. But I trust him. I trust that it'll all work out. Even if it's not this year, it'll work out eventually. I just gotta keep pushing through and doing whatever. That is a huge... How do I... Is this red light, green light? I'm scared. So, I don't know how it's gonna pan out. I just know... I feel like this is gonna kill me if I move on red. I'm scared. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna work, but I trust God. Has his ways, has his plans, so I don't really have to worry about it. You're planning on going to seminary? That's cool. Of course, I also, if I ever do get, like... What's it called? Like, popular or whatever you really want to call it. This thing's gonna break. I want to give back to the community. I want to, of course, do... It broke. Yeah, I couldn't pick it up. I want to do community, like, giveaways and stuff, obviously. But I also want to help, like, bring up smaller creators, if possible. I don't know any that I really would want to shout out at the moment. But that is something I'd want to do. Or just help give back, help people learn, whatever, really. Just stuff like that. That'd be one of my goals. Of course, supporting financially, obviously a big one. But, oh my goodness. That's likely not going to be for a while, so it's just not something... Of course, it's big on my list, but it's just not something I'm really thinking too much about at the moment. Well, I'm thinking a lot about it, it's just... I can't word, oh my goodness. Thinking about it, obviously, it's a goal, but we're far off from it, so it doesn't seem feasible. But another thing that's really interesting to think about is that people get famous or viral for the randomest things. literally, like, just anything can go viral, and then boom, you have a whole career, which is, oh, I hate these guys, which is so crazy to me, that you can just do, like, one random thing and get a whole community out of it. You stay away from me. Get away. Yeah. I heard a lot of things about seminary when it comes to stuff like that. That they're going to ask you questions like, is the Trinity in the Bible? Which, it's not stated. But they want the answer to be yes. Because you can infer it, which doesn't make sense to me. And I really think I'd find a lot of that stuff annoying. When it comes to like, oh yeah, is the Trinity in the Bible? No. Well, you're wrong, because it's inferred. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't like stuff like that. So I know I'd have issues with it. And then school is just not really my thing. It's not something I really enjoy, I guess. Not enjoy. I'm not looking for the word enjoy. It's just not for me. School is not a system that really I work well in. Well, I do work well in. I can't word. School's not a system that works for me, really. Like, it works in the terms that I'll get grades and stuff, but it doesn't really work. I can't word. It's just not enjoyable, obviously, but I don't like the system, and it holds me back in a lot of ways because of it. Even some laws, even just a lot of stuff. It's just not built for me in the sense that I am not very compatible with school, even if I do well in it. And then it's just stressful for no reason. School sucks, but on your post, you should post something controversial on your post. I don't know what I'd post. I mean, of course, I could bring up, like, questions. And, of course, I want to engage the audience more when it comes to these streams. Like, ask questions. What do they think about this? What's this? Of course, this stream hasn't been really one of those. We haven't had a lot of people watching, but leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Ugh. We haven't had a lot of people watching, so it's not really one of those where I can engage with chat. But I was realizing when I was thinking about what I can do better on streams, I'm just not talking to chat. I'm talking, I'm answering questions, but I'm not getting... Like, I'm not asking chat anything. I'm not asking you any questions other than what's your favorite Bible verse. I'm not asking, what do you think about this issue or this issue? What do you think about this? How's this going in your life? All that. I'm not asking any questions to chat. I'm just talking. I'm gonna need water after this. My throat hurts. Yeah. So all that, I'm gonna try and get better at doing that. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Of course, the stream isn't going to be long. I'm probably going to end off here soon and continue working on getting videos set up and then get water and probably eat and stuff because my throat's dry now. It hurts. I'm probably getting sick. That's... Oh, I'm just... Okay. So, yeah. A lot of plans, a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams. Ultimately, God willing. It's not really all your fault. It's kind of an algorithm. What do you mean? Oh, wait, by the stream. Yeah, it's an algorithm thing. If I post videos, that's when, or post shorts, that's when I was getting, like, the most views or whatever you really want to call it. So I believe they'll pick back up. Plus, we're playing REPO. It doesn't really get as many views as Minecraft used to, but I can't play the Minecraft server. Again, gonna try to get that up, but that's the whole thing. Right now, my setup is really good, like, actively for streaming. I just gotta figure out ways to make content better, make shorts better, make streams better, and just keep iterating and keep going up until I finally get something that works well. I've finally gotten the shorts to, like, a 2,000 view formula, but I gotta keep going up and eventually hit, like, big numbers, I guess. And then I gotta learn horizontal, like, videos, like, long form, because that's where the money actually is when it comes to most stuff. So I gotta figure out, okay, what do I do? Because I don't know how to edit long form. I've done shorts, and I've learned over time, but long form's going to be a similar topic. But I know through these streams I get a lot of topics I can talk about, so I think it'll balance out. I'll get so many videos from just talking here that will be good. The server is Java. I updated the version, and now I can't set up the server. But yeah, I have a lot of hopes, a lot of things I want to work on. I want to work on, like, reading the Bible and stuff, too. There's a lot of stuff. I'm just glad school's out and gives me more time. And a lot more energy, too, when it comes to a lot of stuff like that. So, hopefully we'll do better. And they did. So yeah, it's just a lot of stuff like that. I want to keep the Discord for, like, information on when I'm streaming, if I'm going to stream, if I'm not going to stream, what's going on, why am I not doing this, why am I not doing that. That's when I want to keep the info for Discord. Though it's still going to be a community, but it's just kind of dead right now. I don't know why. It used to be such a good community, but it's just kind of wishy-washy at this point. So... welcome into the server, by the way. I think that's Santa that joined and sent me a message. Oh, they called me. Well, welcome to the server. Hope you're doing well. I didn't see that you tried to add me. Oh, it's 2. Okay, very cool to see you in here, though. I don't think they're still in here. Yeah, you don't have Discord. That's fine. We'll see how that goes. Of course, I might still use community posts for stuff like that, especially if it gets, like, way more popular than the Discord, but for now, it's gonna be used for other things. I think I'm gonna end off here soon. I gotta get water. And I only wanted to stream for, like, 2 hours-ish anyways, and we're about at that point by now. But yeah, I'm gonna try and stream Thursday again unless something happens, unless I'm not feeling well or whatever. And then I'm gonna try and stream more when it comes to streaming in general, now that I have time. Like, time. So, we'll see how everything goes, even if I don't have a topic to talk about. Videos are the main focus for now, though. If I don't have videos, then I'm not going to stream. If I can get videos, then I'm going to start streaming more. Anyways, I think that's enough for this. I've yapped about a few topics, and I'm just not feeling great. I gotta get water. I'm gonna end it here. God bless anybody who's here. God bless you, Blake Richard. Hope you're doing well. Will I still do the Tuesday, Thursday? Yeah, that's still the hope. Even though I ended it last week. Not ended it. I just missed both because a lot of stuff going on. That's the hope. I'm gonna continue Tuesday, Thursday. And then the hope is add other days in as I can. That was the hope before, but I just never had time. So we'll see now. Anyways, God bless you and your family. I hope you all stay in good health. And in good peace of mind and soul and everything else. I'll see you likely Thursday or whatever day I stream. See you. God bless.